Welcome to Todd's 2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday, brought to you by Big Beard Battery. Visit BigBeardBattery.com. Hey, before we get to the video, which I know this is the reason why you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Hey, this week we're going to bring you the ultimate test. Will these two products actually break down your poo? Now, here's the thing. I have done two separate videos. One, I have actually tested the RV Digest-it, and just most recently I've done a test on Liquified. Now, those tests are simple. What we're trying to do is just prove or disprove the claim, will the contents inside break down solid waste? Both of these products do break down solid wastes. However, a lot of you had a lot of questions, right? You wanted to see a head-to-head, and at the time I wasn't really trying to go head-to-head, but we'll go ahead and do that. But a lot of you had some statements, a lot of armchair quarterbacks, wanting to say, well, you're putting in too much product, not enough water. So we sat here for the last 4 hours trying to figure out all the math for you. So this is what we're going to do, right? Based on the numbers. Now, here's the thing. The RV Digest-it requires 2 ounces for a tank. The Liquified, they suggest 1 ounce per tank. Now, I'd go through a couple things here because some of you said you need to, do a 50 gallons to whatever this is here. Now, both of these products, we got to look at it from a practical standpoint. You don't wait and fill up your tank and then add the treatment and then expect to dump it and it'll all be broken down. If you read the directions, what you're supposed to do is after you dump your tanks and clean the tanks out, add a little bit of water and then add the product. So starting off, that product is going to be far more, there's going to be far more of a ratio of that product because there's an empty tank or a relatively empty tank versus a full tank, okay? But that also gives it time. Now, let's look at it also from a practical standpoint. Do you dump your tank every single day? Well, if you do, I'm going to say you do it too much. You're not giving nature or products time to break down your solid wastes. Typically, the best use that you could do is keep water in there. So roughly around 3/4 of a tank, whatever size tank you have, roughly around 3/4 of a tank, that's when you dump. And it all depends on how much you eat and how many Tuesdays in a row that you ate, how often you dump. On average, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks that you dump. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another test and we're going to give equal amounts, equal measures based on the directions, and we're going to put this to the test, okay? So over here, I've got my measuring of 2 cups of water, right? And we kind of just did the math on there with 640 cups, 40 gallons, something like that. So we're gonna go 2 cups of water. So I'm gonna pour 2 cups of water here. Since I don't have a second one, I'll just do this. I'm sure it was already pre-measured. Bam-o, it was. All right, so here we have that. Now, there was a couple of you that actually responded, says, Todd, why don't you test it with real poo? Well, here's the reason. One, I'm very intrigued. I'd like to do that. And we have done tests with that. We've got testimonials. And matter of fact, I've used both products. But I can't show it, right? You don't show human feces on the tubes or anything like that, right? Blur it out, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to test this. And then at the end of the test, we'll run it through strainers, okay? And then we'll see, the size of whatever solids are left in the strainers. So I'm going to go ahead and add the product. Now with this one, Unique, it says that they want 2 ounces for every tank. But if you keep reading the directions, it says to add more every 3 to 5 days. If you don't dump your tank, but maybe once every 2 weeks, you're actually going to apply this twice. But what we will do is we will break this down. So I'm going to do 2 1/4 teaspoons here because that's what the product calls for. One of these 1/4 teaspoons here. So let's go ahead and add that. So I'll just go ahead and pour this in. There was a little bit there. You'd want me to actually make your, oh, dang it. All right, so 2 and then maybe 1/8. I will add 1 and maybe 1/8. All right, oh, by the way, do gotta go ahead and respond. Some of you said I poured 8 ounces of this in the last test, or the first test. This is the same bottle. The whole bottle is 16 ounces. It gives you a measuring cup. I have not moved it since. I used a portion of this cup here. So I got to go ahead and talk to you. Whoever said, Todd, you poured in 8 ounces. No, I didn't. All right. So here we're just going to do 1 because that's what the ratio calls for. There's my one. I give it just a little bit like I did on that one. There we go. Now, let's look at our poo. Now, the reason why we're doing dog food, again, it represents kind of the same types of food that you eat. Not maybe the same quality, same type. So I got fats, I've got carbs, and I've got proteins, right? I know you all poo differently too, but we're gonna go ahead and measure the same amount, so I'm gonna give it just a cup, right? Cup. All right, does come with sound effects. Second one. All right. Now, some of you asked, do either one of these products break down toilet paper? Now, toilet paper is not something that typically enzymes or bacteria eats, but knowing these tests, and I've done this before, it will break it down, but it doesn't dissolve it. Okay, so we will see that. I'll go ahead and add these in here, one each, because we all know that you only use one little piece. We'll give this time. Now, again, because on the other tests, we simply, used a lot of it and put that in there to speed up the time, we're going to let this sit. Maybe a day or so, we'll come back and we'll look at this. And then when our test is over, we'll strain it. So let's speed up the clock. All right, so you saw the time lapse. It's the next morning, and now we're going to do the final test, and that is, let's see what goes through the strainer. Now, we had some breakdown. You saw it in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the barrel. I'm going to slightly move this one over here. We'll start with the liquefied first. I'm going to open this up. I did put a piece of toilet paper in there, and I'll tell you, the toilet paper, the enzymes, the bacteria really, they'll kind of nobble on a little bit, but it doesn't dissolve it. Still smells like dog food. I don't smell anything else. So I'm going to pull this over. We'll set this like so, and then I will pour into here, and let's see what we get. There's the toilet paper. All right. Got water going through, and I've got my chocolate shake sitting right there. Guys, this is really what we want. That will travel with the water and get, as the solids are going, solids broken down, they don't disappear, they're just broken down. Moves a lot better with the water, so definitely like that. I'm going to move this over so we can still compare. May have to do this the opposite way. Let's see here. How about I do this? There we go. All right, set that there. Now we're going to look at the RV Digest-it. Open this back up. Okay, still smells just like dog food. All right, there's the piece of toilet paper up top. Got a lot of breakdown. Let's see what we have here. Okay. I do see a lot of it broken down. We're going to let this drain out. A little bit more chunks in there than this one here, but is breaking down. And again, I want to talk about the difference. 1 ounce per tank, 2 ounces per tank. Now you got to look at cost, everything else. So there's just more liquid content in this one than in this one. And again, bacteria based, enzyme based. The reason we talked with Matt, the reason why they do the 1 ounce is because, of course, they feel if they use 2 ounces, you're kind of wasting it. Now in the summer when it gets really hot, this stuff really begins to make a lot of smells. Then they will say, go ahead and use 2 ounces then. Unique, they have another product called the Tank Odor Eliminator that would help take care of that. This one, you just double the formula. This one, you have two different products. So again, we're going to let these drain for just a second, give it the same amount of time over here. But again, just immediately looking at this, they both break down. This one broke down faster than this one. I used half the product than this one. Still like both of them, but this one sure does seem to be winning. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this over, set it over here. let's get this out of the way and do some front shots of what we have. Now, both of them, the toilet paper is kind of sitting in the bottom of the strainer, and it's limiting, you know, the water from coming out. So if I lean it over to the sides or something like that and get away from the water, okay. Again, less content than this one. Both of them really did break it down. All right, so let's look at the number of treatments. So with RV Digest-it, 16 treatments. The number of treatments that you get with the liquefied, well, this is 16 ounces. It's 1 ounce, 16 treatments. I think cost-wise, both of these cost-wise is roughly around $1 a treatment that you get. However, with their 32 ounce that they sell, it drops it down to 24. So it's 70 cents per treatment. So a little bit less, but on both of these, very low cost, completely made in America, even bottled in America. I do know that. I know this is made in America. I will find out a little bit more about that. You can't go wrong with either, but I will say this. You don't need another product with this, especially in the summer. You just double up your amount that you are actually using. So go 2 ounces instead of 1. Oh my goodness, what would that do? All right, so to finalize and put this together, I mean, both are great, but there does appear to be a winner, and that is with the liquefied. So here's your props. In order to get this stuff, the best place to go is Amazon, and you can find that liquefied. Matt's RV Reviews. They do have a couple sites that you can go to get directed over there. But if you want to buy this, you can go over to Amazon and just type in liquefied, and there you'll see Matt's shining face. You actually get to see the, let's do this over. Is there a, does that do anything? Yep. Aha. Let's see here. Didn't quite think about that. I feel like I'm saying it for gold. This is gold, brown gold. I have a quarter teaspoon measuring cup. Stephanie, this is not yours. Quarter teaspoon measuring cup. It is a cup. See, you thought you got me, but no, you didn't. This is a cup. Measuring spoon. All right, whatever. What the hell, right?